I'm going to talk about unconditional love because it's something that I'm really excited about right now. And there's a newness to it for me. And my only hesitation in talking about it is it's one of those things that in the past would have been a reason for me to say, well, you know what? I don't know anything about that. I'm not experiencing that. I don't understand what they're talking about, so I can't be enlightened. um, so you can't do self-inquiry. You can't do philosophical inquiry about whether or not this is all love, whether this is all unconditional love. There's no way to test for that because you can't know what it means. You can look for a self, right? You won't be able to find it, and that'll give you a pretty clear answer that that's not something that's findable. You can try to step into the past or step into the future, and you can discover those things can't be done. So those are things you can do. Unconditional love is just something that can come up, and it doesn't have to. You don't have to feel like you have an understanding of what other people mean by unconditional love to be enlightened. I wouldn't have said that I did. I would have said that I had some idea for sure. There were some aspects of it that made sense for me at the point when I realized that I was enlightened. But but that didn't change, despite me not understanding, everything being unconditional love. There was enough there for me to realize that whatever this was all that was needed, right? There's no reason to look for something else. A lot of people will say love is the wrong word, but it's the closest one that we have. And I think, that's true from a certain point of view. Words don't mean anything unless you understand them. And there's no right way to talk about this. It's all metaphors and analogies and euphemism. That's all language really is anyway. All language is symbolic. But I think it can be equally true to say that love is the right word for what this is, but not quite the right word the way we normally use it. I think that the love that the individual feels, for a child or for a partner or for a great piece of music, I think that that is very much like this love. This love is pure, it is everything, it is wholeness, and everything is permitted. Just like, when you're falling in love with someone new, you may see certain features that you never thought you would have been attracted to, right? And suddenly they're the most endearing thing to you. You love them. And maybe you break up with that person, and then when you see other people with those features, you might even think, maybe I could fall in love with that person. Love for children can be like that too, behaviors that you would never appreciate in someone else's children, you might love in your own, right? So this is like that with everything, right? And it's not me who loves everything. There's no way that the individual self could love everything. I mean, the individual self has to live life by having preferences, but the universe, the cosmos, loves itself immensely. The cosmos is the creator and the creation. It is like the most beautiful piece of music, and the cosmos is the music and the musician. Loves itself, it's proud of what it's doing. That's what this is. And individual love can be like that. You know, a good piece of music has tension and then release, right? It's a big part of what music is. An unstable chord that resolves to a stable chord. That's what living life is like. We tend to not like the unstable portions. We only like the resolve, but the resolve is meaningless without the unstable portions. And one of the cool things about music is, you know, at one point in time you can play one chord, right? And if you have the appropriate divisions, it can sound beautiful, it can sound ugly, right? Depending on how that's put together. Now, if you have multiple chords put together, it's generally going to sound ugly, right? You can have too much. But if you use time to space them out, each chord gives the next chord a different meaning. I love to hear that in music when a key changes and you hear that first portion of the new section of the music and it sounds awkward, but then the next part comes in and it suddenly makes it make sense. It gives it a new meaning. But that chord on its own wouldn't mean the same thing. It requires the moment before it. So it really is like one unit that's happening all at once in a way, when you think of it like that.